This video is a critique which is considered fair use under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. I do not own any of these clips. This is simply fan-made for entertainment purposes only. Family Guy is owned by 20th Century Fox, Fuzzy Door Productions, Seth MacFarlane, and David Zuckerman. Enjoy! Hey guys, so I know I promised to do Quagmire's dad this time, something I've been rambling on about doing for a while now. But here's the thing. My top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes video absolutely destroyed me. I'm still seeing a therapist twice a week as a result of those episodes. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to, once again, postpone getting to this episode. I'm sorry, I just don't have enough strength to do this review. Was that my window?
Hey, JemReviews.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Shazoozle.
Shazoozle?
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Sounds more like the cows from Family Guy.
Shazoozle!
Well, that's fitting, seeing as I'm here to help you review Quagmire's dad.
You're what?
Well, you said you didn't have the strength, so that's why I'm here to help.
You just broke through my window, you fucking lunatic.
Well, I'm a Let's Player. It's kind of my style.
A Let's Player? You don't do reviews.
Well, it's either me and we get this over with now, or you do the review by yourself later.
Alright. You win. I'd rather get this over with now. This is JemReviews, Quagmire's dad.
Featuring Shazoozle.
Oh, shut up. Alright, before we analyze the episode, we're going to give you a little backstory to it. In January 2010, Seth MacFarlane talked up this episode by saying this.
It always distresses me when I hear that the gay community is upset with us, because that's one group of people I hope would know we're on their side. I can safely say that the transsexual community will be very, very happy with the Quagmire episode that we have coming up in a couple of months. It's probably the most sympathetic portrayal of a transsexual character that has ever been on television, dare I say.
The most sympathetic portrayal that's ever been on television. Just wait till you see how they discuss this topic and how horribly they portray this character. The episode starts off with Brian leaving for a few days on a conference, which actually will tie in later to the episode.
While at the Drunken Clam, Quagmire tells Peter and Joe that his dad, Dan, is coming for a visit, and his dad is actually a war hero and apparently a womanizer.
That's right. You think I've been with a lot of broads. My dad's had more pie than Kirstie Alley.
How did Kirstie Alley look in 2010? Oh, okay, that's actually a good joke then. Well, Quagmire goes on to discuss his dad as his personal hero. But when Peter and Joe meet him, it becomes incredibly obvious that Quagmire's dad is gay.
So all of a sudden we get these orders, and of course it's the day of all days I have to put on a helmet. I remember the sky was a majestic orange. The breeze was just warm enough that you could wear short sleeves, but, not so warm that you break any kind of a sweat, because let me tell you, I do hate to
See, this gets a pass because it's very easy to mix up gay and transgender if a person hasn't called themselves transgender yet, so this doesn't come off as offensive.
Not yet, anyway. Just wait until we dive deeper into this episode. Peter tells Quagmire that his dad is gay, and Quagmire quickly turns it around and says that Peter is only jealous that his dad is a war hero, while Peter's dad is a drunk. But while at a war reunion, a lot of double entendres make Quagmire freak out that Peter might actually be right.
He just knew how to stroke those privates.
Oh, God.
Your dad was cock of the walk, Glenn. Every day at rifle training, he'd help me clean my butt.
Your dad once drank me under the table.
If there was one man you wanted in your hole, it was your dad.
They could have stopped after the first three. They didn't have to keep coming up with all these entendres.
Oh, but Shazoozle. If they stopped, you wouldn't know how clever and colorful they could. Well, Quagmire confronts his dad, and his dad says he's not gay. He's actually a woman trapped in a man's body, and plans to have a sex change operation. And Quagmire says this.
Oh, come on, just be gay.
Okay, so sympathetic, huh? Alright, that could be just one joke. I'll let that slide.
Quagmire tells Peter and Lois about his dad's plan to have a sex change, and they say this.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
See? This shows that McFarlane really doesn't have an understanding about the difference between the gays and transgenders. I mean, saying they're one and the same is like saying a Mexican and a Puerto Rican are one and the same.
I mean, Quagmire tries to tell them that there's a difference, but they say it seems like it's the same, and this is another big issue. The episode is not clear on who's right. The way it ends makes it sound like the episode is saying Peter and Lois are actually right and that they are the same, but at the same time, I can't tell if the episode is trying to imply that both of them are just idiots, because they never really have a resolution or a realization. They just both seem to think it's the exact same thing.
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Yeah, I mean, Peter does ask this question.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
But if he was a man interested in women who feels like he himself is a woman, or a lesbian trapped in a man's body, as Eddie Izzard would call it, he'd still be a transgender. It doesn't matter if you prefer guys or girls. Transgender is defined as someone whose binary gender identity is the opposite of their assigned sex.
In short, it's just a man who feels like they're actually a woman, or a woman who feels they're actually a man. It does not matter who they're attracted to. It's not some hyper-extended form of homosexuality, and that's one of the many reasons they're not the same as gay people. Gay people know what gender they are. They feel like they're assigned gender. And it is very possible for a man who's attracted to women to still feel like he himself is a woman. Hell, Caitlyn Jenner stated she's never felt an attraction towards men. And since her sex change operation, she's identified herself as asexual. If you're going to talk about a subject that you are saying you sympathetically are portraying, at least do a little research on it. At least make it clear to the people who are watching who wouldn't know the difference, what the difference actually is.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
Oh, sympathetic my fucking ass.
Well, Quagmire and Peter go with Dan to his sex change appointment, and he comes out looking like this.
Oh my God!
Well, Dan, now going by Ida, comes to the Griffin's house for dinner.
I made a crumble.
Ah, how thoughtful. Throw it away in the outside garbage.
Okay, I don't even get this joke. I mean, what exactly is this joke poking fun at? Shazoozle, can you explain?
Honestly, I can't. I mean, this joke makes no sense. Is she saying because Ida was once a man, he can't cook? Is she afraid he baked his penis into it? I mean, I don't even get where they're getting at this. I mean, if you're trying to say Lois is a fucking transphobic, then why don't you have her learn her lesson at the end? All she does is make these questionable comments.
Quagmire and his dad, Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh? Throw it away in the outside garbage.
And I don't see how anyone would know how to take this.
On top of that, Lois, you know you said that right in front of her, right? Like she's standing right behind you. I'm pretty sure she heard what you said. You didn't exactly whisper it.
Okay, you know what? Elephant in the room. I'll say it. So, Ida, you miss your penis?
Peter what? You insulted her cooking right in front of her. You think Peter asking this question is worse or more inappropriate than what you've done so far, you fucking hypocritical, pedophilic, bestialic, two-timing...
Jem, calm down!
Sorry, I just fucking hate Lois.
We all do, but let's not lose focus. Well, Quagmire breaks down at dinner and storms out, and Ida scolds him for doing that.
Well, that was quite a performance.
And then when Quagmire reveals that he can't handle her change, she accepts this and leaves.
I understand. I had the advantage of thinking about this for years. For me, it was easy. Do I want to be happy the rest of my life or miserable?
Okay, let me get this straight. You had the advantage of thinking about this for years, right? Okay, fair enough. Yet you never thought about how it would affect your son?
So now you're happy and I'm miserable.
I see. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Okay, I gotta ask this now. Does she seem sympathetic to you? This is a character that never told her son, who idolizes her, about her intentions to become a woman. She gave him no time to adjust. She's scolding him for not taking it well right off the bat. And then she reveals that she didn't even consider how he'd take it to begin with. How do you not think of that? That, at least I would assume, would be the first thing you would think about. I mean, yes, your happiness is what matters. But when your children care about you so much and think so highly of you, wouldn't it make sense to at least let them know what you're doing? And I don't mean waiting until they ask if you're gay to tell them, oh, actually, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, and I'm getting a sex change tomorrow. Like, wouldn't you feel you owe them that much? Hell, you think you'd also owe them a little time to at least adjust to the idea before you get so fucking personal at your son's friend's dinner?
It's okay. It's a perfectly normal question. We can't sit here and just pretend everything's the same. It is a big transition for me, yes, but the answer is I still have it. They just turn it inside out to simulate a vagina.
Come on, Dad. Not a bad option to have in the back.
Also, you never actually see her struggles. You never actually see what she had to go through before deciding something as big as this. I mean, she says she was unhappy, but by the way the episode just sneezes it at you, you don't actually see it, and therefore you can't sympathize with her because you can't grasp how she feels. And if you're going to be sympathetic, wouldn't it make sense to address how society views transgenders and how they aren't something to fear? I mean, I don't know for sure if Peter is transphobic or just stupid, but I think it's very clear that Lois is transphobic at this point. So if you want to be sympathetic, wouldn't you at least highlight how they're wrong for feeling the way they do about Ida?
And thirdly, the episode is making Quagmire out like he's the bad guy for not being able to handle it, when in actuality, Quagmire is the only relatable character in the entire episode. I mean, how can you blame him for not accepting this change when everything he's ever known has changed overnight? I mean, it's clear at this point that all this transgender episode is trying to do is portray some fucking cringeworthy comedy with Quagmire's reactions.
This corn is special.
So tell me about those knockers. Is that just like implants, or did they reassign some ass fat up there?
All right, I'm out of here.
This isn't a sympathetic portrayal, it's a fucking joke. You're using her transgender identity as a joke.
Fuck you!
Honestly, a big reason this episode is so bad all goes back to what Seth MacFarlane himself stated that the episode was trying to do. He stated the episode was trying to make her sympathetic, and it was trying to make transgender people happy. But everything in this episode is done backwards. It's as far off from sympathetic as it can possibly get.
Alright, moving on. Ida ends up meeting Brian at a hotel bar, and they end up hooking up. When Brian tells Lois and Peter about it and shows them a picture he took, they react like this.
Here, Lois, take a look.
Oh my God!
This is the best day of my life!
My God, Jem, you weren't kidding. They are portraying this as just a giant joke.
Yeah, they are. And I should point this out too. Brian straight up calls Ida his soulmate. Trust me, that's going to be important for what happens next.
Well, Stewie ends up telling Brian about Quagmire's dad, and Brian quickly puts together that that's the woman that he hooked up with.
This vomiting goes on for like a minute, by the way. Again, really sympathetic.
Don't you hate Brian, though? Wouldn't this be satisfying to you?
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything offensive. He's been literally out of the episode for the whole time. It's not as satisfying when he hasn't done anything to actually deserve it yet. And on top of that, Brian and Stewie aired right before this episode, and it seemed like Brian's character was going to get better. My God, it's still going on.
There we go.
Ah! Oh, what? What the hell? What's wrong with you? I had sex with her! Oh, what? When they move to a new place, they're supposed to notify the neighborhood! That's how it works!
That's sex offenders, you fucking moron! Seriously, you just mix up transgenders with sex offenders?
Well, Quagmire ends up accepting Ida for who she is, and then tells him about her night with Brian, which provokes Quagmire to beat the shit out of him.
Again, this would be satisfying if Brian did something to deserve it. He didn't. Or it'd be satisfying if this episode aired after the herpes episode. It didn't. Like I said, it aired after Brian and Stewie, the episode that actually got me to start liking Brian again at this point. And now this makes Quagmire, who I've been sympathizing with over fucking Ida, look like a fucking asshole. I mean, right now, I actually sympathize more with Brian than I do anyone else. Even if Brian said that stupid-ass line.
But it ends with Brian saying this line,
Your dad.
and everyone forgets how bad the episode was.
Oh god, this episode was just a mess. It's actually disturbing to me that McFarlane really had the balls to say that this was going to be sympathetic. And what's even more disturbing, he said he was shocked by the backlash this episode got. Shazoozle, can you do the honors again?
Sure, this episode got a negative response from Glad, who stated, "Frankly, it's literally impossible for me to reconcile last night's episode with McFarlane's words, unless I come to the conclusion that the man is pretty much a complete idiot." McFarlane expressed surprise at the negative reaction, stating, "I don't meet a lot of stupid homosexuals." Wow, McFarlane. Stupid homosexuals. You've just made an entire cliched, insulting episode about transgender people that little research was done on, and you're shocked by the backlash?
Oh, but there's more, isn't there, Shazoozle?
Yep. McFarlane also defended Brian's very sympathetic reaction of vomiting, saying, "If I found out that I had slept with a transsexual, I might throw up in the same way that a gay guy looks at a vagina and goes, 'Oh my god, that's just disgusting.'"
Oh, yeah. You were the perfect person to talk about this subject. Well, Shazoozle, you want to sum up this episode for everyone?
Gladly, Jem. It's an insulting, unintelligent, cliched, and all-around fucked up episode. It's easily one of the worst Family Guy episodes I've ever seen. And you left it off your top 10 list?
Oh, how I regret that. This episode easily would have overtaken Life of Brian. Hell, looking at it again, it'd probably be in the top 5. It's just an insulting, disgusting, and absolutely worthless episode. And you know what's worse? IGN ranked it the number 10 best episode of Family Guy.
No.
Yep. Even ranking it above episodes like North by North Quahog, and Then There Were Fewer, and Something 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 Dark Side.
Now that's a travesty to top 15 lists everywhere.
It is. Well, I thank you for joining me, Shazoozle. You really helped me not drop dead from anger watching this episode.
Anytime. Hey, I'm down to help with another episode review if you want.
That'd be great. Let's see what we got next. Oh, fuck. Shazoozle, we're gonna need all our strength combined for this stinker. Shazoozle? You fucking traitor!